Oops.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. We are now live. This is the Freemanbot Freedom Mastermind. This is Adam Wins. I'm here with Bo. How you doing, Bo?
Good, brother.
Tell me, so what's up, man?
Well, first off, let me just put this out because it's still fresh. It's within the week.
So you want to go there?
But as
Okay.
everybody knows, yeah.
I don't think everybody knows, but go ahead.
Well, for the most, yeah. What the news is playing and things like that. Videos of people's cell phones.
Oh, you mean
Anyways,
people
I know
drinking the Kool-Aid like COVID-19, right? Sucking it up that fast.
maybe. I
Yeah,
mean, here's
not
the
maybe.
thing. I wasn't
Definitely.
there. Yep, I wasn't there. But
Right.
Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and whichever way you want to look at it, before we get into it, if he did in fact die, which according to I have friends that actually helped him start his movement, his turning point, and you can see what's happening all around the world. And this man and his ministry, we'll call it, had an impact globally. And it was very positive. And the difference between somebody like Charlie Kirk being assassinated and like anybody else who was on the whichever side you want to swing, there was riots and things like that. Where this one, I mean, people were praying for his family. They were praying for the First Amendment because essentially what it was a potential attack on the First Amendment. And because that's all Charlie did when he went to schools.
That's what they told you.
I mean, I have never attended. I know people who have, and he's very smart, very witty.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, I got no reason not to believe them. However, there's all sorts of conspiracies out there, like somehow Israel's behind it, and nobody is believing the leader of Israel right now and what he said. And instead of just honoring a life lived, he just took a defensive stance and kind of basically said, if you talk about us, then I'm going to bring up the Holocaust. Well, I'll let you guys decide who that was and go from there. But the reality is that if this did happen, I know those that I'm close to that believe that it did because, well, some of them were not present, but they were there at the other end of it. But the reality is, if this happened, it's tragic. But at the same time,
that's your reality.
Sure. Yeah. But at the same time, honoring a life that was lived for God.
And while we do that, let's
good,
honor the other 150,000 people that die every single day. Let's do that.
Sure.
Because the reason that this is
one thing
important
that's
to you is because they tell you it's important to you.
No,
and you're eating it up. You're eating it up.
No,
you're
I know.
Eating it up.
Here's the reality.
It's
here's
fake.
The reality.
You know what fake is?
When somebody dies for what they believe in,
as known existence, and it's not.
When somebody dies for what they believe in, I mean, wholeheartedly lived it to his core. There's something that has to be said about a life like that.
Yeah,
sure. There are people that die of whatever, and I'm not belittling death at all, because death comes to us all. The reality is this: are we gonna stay in this life and allow our death to be the end, or is our death going to be the beginning? And that's whatever for everybody to choose for themselves. And there's other things that are surfacing, and so we'll get to that in a second, because I know you want to read between the lines. But something that Kash Patel said at the end of his little speech, he said, "I'll see you in Valhalla."
Have you seen his girlfriend?
I'll see you. They're married now, but I'll see you in Valhalla, brother. That's what he said, his exact words. Now, Kash Patel is not a Nordic. He doesn't follow the Nordic gods. Why did he say Valhalla? Well, there's a video out there where the guy that supposedly shot the guy. No, wait, hold on. This is interesting. And it's on the island of New Zealand, and the area that is on his computer literally is the area of Valhalla, and it looks like a retreat center. So I don't know. I grieve with his wife and his two small children. And I think that
I agree that anytime someone dies, that it should be a celebration of their life. And I'm glad for whatever this man gave to you or anybody else. Personally, he didn't give me a thing. I don't know the
sure,
man, never met the man, never heard the man speak one time. What I do know is when I saw it and I see what's playing out on
yep,
the television, that it looks like very much resembles a COVID suckerdom, because you go to school and you get trained how to think. And the first
right,
thing they do is they give you a credit or a star for answering the puzzle. Now they've given you yet again one more puzzle, like JFK, like Martin Luther King, like COVID-19, like 9/11, like Epstein, all these friggin' puzzles that your brain has to figure out. So which one of you is right? Which one is you smarter? Oh, he got killed by this guy. I got killed by that guy. Who gives a frigging shit? It doesn't
I would
matter.
I
You're
would
never,
I would say that
nobody
there's
is
close
ever
to a
going to
billion
know this
people.
puzzle. It's
I
used
there's
against
close to
you
a
to
billion
separate
people
you
on the
from God
world in the
and
world
yourself. It's
that
just,
do care
it's
right now.
something used against you. If you want to buy into it
Maybe
and believe the bullshit of it and allow it to affect you, some guy you've never met that doesn't
I'm
care
not
one
buying into the political
instant for
agenda
you,
behind it.
buy into
Absolutely
it.
not. I'm not buying into the political agenda. But
Okay, so Bo,
if
answer
this
me this
is
question.
true and
Turning Point.
somebody did die,
Turning Point. What
yes.
kind of company is it?
What kind of company is it?
Yeah, what is Turning Point? What is it?
I don't know enough about Turning Point.
Okay, but
I
you're
know
going to
that.
testify here what all your friends with Turning Point, and this is a great thing, and they're supporting so much stuff. They're a 501c3 NGO. Okay, they're a government-supported speech organization. That's
Sure.
exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So I just
and
don't really support that in any way,
they're
shape, or
saying
form.
that he was once a Zionist, and over the past few interviews this year, he has switched his view and started to speak out against the Zionist movement. And there are those that are in the little rabbit hole vein that think that there is a specific group that actually took him out
Bo,
because those were his main funders.
yeah, go around the rabbit hole and you'll never get an answer, because
Sure.
that's the whole point of this operation that they're putting. Like, the vice president takes over his TV show. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't see it, if you can't see this as COVID 2 or, JFK again, or whatever bullshit story that they want to tell you, there's first an old man that did the shooting. Then there's this other guy who is not even the same guy. Like, who gives a shit? Like,
I
I
personally
think
I
it's a
do.
bad thing when somebody
I do.
has something
I
bad happen to them.
I actually do.
They're
I
giving
actually
you these
think that
details for a reason,
I actually
and it's
think that a
messing with your head.
voice
It's for
I actually
low
think that a
IQ.
voice
It's for low
like
IQ.
his
It's for low IQ. There was
to
no
be
voice.
taken out is an attack on our First Amendment.
It's no IQ.
And as well as, I have to say that his wife and those that were close to him are pretty doggone convincing. And I didn't know him personally and never met him
Okay.
once. I know
There's a
people that
lot of very
knew him
convincing
personally.
actors. Will Smith makes me cry every time I watch one of his movies. It doesn't mean that it's not fake. Okay. Now, whether
Sure.
he was or he wasn't, it doesn't matter. It's the fear inducing episode that you guys swarm around. You
But there's a
particularly.
it's this one's
You swarm
opposite.
around it.
There
You
is no
love it.
fear. There
Within
was the
10
attack
seconds.
of fear. Absolutely.
Oh,
But what's happening all around the world? The opposite of fear. Hope. People are gathering together like they've
what's
never
the
gathered
weather
before.
today in Japan, Bo? What's the weather today in Japan?
I didn't talk to a Japanese.
Okay. So it doesn't matter to you. Okay. It doesn't affect you.
Well,
Okay.
hey, full
Somebody
disclosure,
wants to
everybody
make it
watching,
matter to you.
whoever's
Somebody
watching
wants to
right
make it
now,
affect
now
you
or in the future,
all around the world.
I did grieve. I did. And you know what? I only listened to a handful of this guy's videos in the past, and over the
Yeah.
past week, I've listened to a few more.
Mhm.
And I have to say that he stood for what he believed in, and
Okay.
what he believed in was important to him. Just like every single one of us that are fighting for freedom, and every single one of us that are fighting for our amended rights that ultimately came from the Bible in the first place, but because we have to stand on a constitution in order to be a quote unquote citizen, national, whatever you want to call us, um,
Oh, I think it's an absolute nonsense handling of a situation, whether the man was really shot or he wasn't, whether he speaks up for his faith or he speaks out against others' faith. I don't really know. I don't really care. What I'm saying is it's there to affect you in a way,
sure,
to take you down a place that you start to become him. So everybody's starting to stand up and say, I'm Charlie. Because, yeah.
Well, no one will ever fit another man's shoes. No one will ever.
Anyway,
one of the greatest testimonies I've ever heard was when John Osteen died. John Osteen died. And no matter what people think about Joel Osteen, Joel Osteen stood into one of his father's meetings in the tent when he first took over his ministry. And he had his father's shoes, and he grabbed his father's shoes. He set him on the podium, and he said, with tears in his eyes, I watched this. He said, many people ask me, how are you going to fill your father's shoes? Because John Osteen, I mean, he was very impactful to the demographic that he was in and the time period that he was in. And Joel put his shoes on the table and said, for all of my father's friends and all the people that asked, how in the world am I ever going to fill my father's shoes? He put his shoes on the podium and said, I can't, and I never will. Those are my father's shoes to fill. Now I have my own. And he just basically said, all right, and here's the thing. God put me on this earth for a reason, just like he's put my father on this earth for a reason. And basically what I'm saying is, we can't fill somebody else's shoes. For somebody to say, I'm going to pick up that bloody microphone and I'm going to take over, or I am Charlie Kirk. No, we can't all say that we're Charlie Kirk. We are who we are because it's the way God created us. And we all have a message. And if we live that message and we're taken out for it, then we are a martyr for the message that we lived our best life to do. Absolutely
not. Yeah, if you want to buy into the fear, which you're buying into it, like, I don't know how much money
there's
you spent
no
on
fear
this one,
here,
but a lot of spiritual currency, because that's the whole operation is around fear. If you speak out, you will get shot. That's the whole point. And then you have people who
that gives us even more reason to speak out, though. They can't take us all out. That's impossible. And so now there's a rise of a generation. They're not taking up somebody else's mantle. They're taking up their own, recognizing that, you know what? If it's this bad and this extreme, there are people from both sides of the aisle saying, this is crazy. This should never happen. And now people are standing up and they're voicing out, and their opinions are important. Everybody's opinions are important, whether they lead to anything or not. If somebody dies for something that they believe in,
because
absolutely,
if I said this in a more public forum, they'd have my head for it. I couldn't go on Fox News and say this. People would try to murder me for even saying that the thing is fake, and possibly even Alex Jones won't say it, and he knows it because he got sued for the last one. And they're like, don't even say it. Don't even say it, Alex, that it doesn't smell right. Don't even say it because we'll have your whole business.
It depends who you're speaking in front of. If you're speaking in front of a bunch of God-fearing, constitutional men and women,
I'm not speaking to you or to anybody. I'm speaking for me to God. That's it.
And according to the American way or the Western way, I know it's your First Amendment right to do it. And that was the thing that was attacked.
Because if I actually say this, on them. No way. They'll go attacking me if I say this. I'm telling you, you cannot be of the opinion that you don't agree with everybody else that's agreeing that, this Charlie Kirk thing is like whatever. I mean, look, if you go around punching people in the face, okay? If I go around and I yell faggot in a bunch of gay dudes' face, one of them might have some like pink pepper spray and spray me or punch me or have a gun or do something bad. If you do that, if you F around, sometimes you're going to find out. Okay? So yes, we all have free speech, but when
that's what Gavin Newsom's doing now. He's doing the F around and find out tour or something.
I don't know though, but again, way too much attention to that sphere of nonsense that doesn't bring anything to your life. It doesn't bring you money to fix your house.
Maybe,
it doesn't bring you a better relationship with your wife. It doesn't bring you happiness in your family. It doesn't do any of those things. Don't
but for those that
currency.
But for those that grieved for a life that was lived, I honor you, and I thank you for.
Get over it.
Well, exactly. Quickly. Well, the Bible gives you a certain time period According to scripture, it says you only have a certain time period to grieve. After that grief
I don't
period
think
is
they
up,
had Fox
if
News
you
in that time
continue to
period, man.
grieve, it's grievous and it's sin.
They're selling
And
a
so
narrative, man. They're selling a product. They're selling you breakfast is the most important meal of the day, cornflakes. That's what this whole thing is. It's cornflakes. I mean, I
don't know.
apologize you can't see it,
I don't think
but
so.
it's COVID-19. It's all that stuff over again.
No, we can see things from multiple different perspectives and multiple angles, and there's reason to that. It's like looking at something literally and figuratively. We have to. We have to be as open-minded as we need to in order to learn what we need to learn.
Of it.
Well, exactly. But the opposite is true as well. It's easy to get caught up into something, whether it's in the thing or outside of the thing. But the reality is that if this, to all those that have grieved, thank you. You deserve the grief.
So I didn't grieve. I don't deserve any thanks.
Well, you didn't grieve.
Oh, whoa. So I'm grateful.
I mean, you didn't care. for those that care.
Correct. I don't.
It's fine. No, and I actually disagree. I think you actually do care. But
I don't care.
I would say that you don't know enough about it, so it's not as important to you as it would be for somebody else. Just like when David died. You know how many people that didn't know David?
It shouldn't be important, okay? Celebrate what David gave to you. Celebrate what those things are. The men are
exactly, and that's what's happening right now. People are celebrating what Charlie gave to this planet, to our culture, and they're finally like people are doing it. I didn't know much about the guy. I listened to a couple of things after he died, and I thought, dang, this guy was actually witty and smart about his conversations with other people that disagreed with him. Most people don't have conversations like that.
Okay.
So there you go. That's my tidbit on honoring Charlie Kirk. And there you go. Move on or stay on it. That's fine.
Yeah. What do you want to do? You want to stay on it?
No. I think we're good.
Okay, good. So we've officially all agreed to move on from this. Whatever happened.
Let's go, brother.
Let's go. So
let's go. All right. So, how do you want to proceed? So I've got documents that Adam and I have been working on for certain things. We've got trust stuff, and there's a lot of stuff going on. It's really good stuff. But the one thing that Adam and I talked about, and Adam reminded me of, is that just because we've created these documents, just because we've got like a tab, like we got everything organized, we got them in our specific books, planned out perfectly, doesn't mean this is an instant thing. Like there's basically this right here is essentially a war manual where you have all of your arrows in the correct quiver, and you're at a place where you can acknowledge the fact that I'm ready, but the battle, you may have lost a battle, but the war is up the road. And so something that Adam helped me realize is that, this could be months out or even a year or two or even longer. Are you prepared to do that? And that's the question.
Discouraging you that way, but I want you to have
you didn't discourage me.
Here's really where it's at. Okay.
Yeah.
There's this really smart guy, and his name was Napoleon Hill. I don't know if you guys know who he is or you've read any of his books. Okay. So he has this book called Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
In Think and Grow Rich, there's a very good example of the story 3 Feet from Gold. Okay. And that's a lot of I do hope that the story, the whatever image of this situation of Kirk or whatever it is, sorry, Charlie, that you're going through, I hope that it does inspire you to do a lot of different things. Okay. The other side of it is trying to inspire you to give up. Okay. That's the message,
100%.
right? And
that's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah. And 3 Feet from Gold is about this guy And he bought this gold mine and he invested all of his money into this gold mine. And he was digging and digging and digging. And he didn't find any friggin' gold. So he said, hey, man, screw this gold mine. I'm going to go and do something different. And there was the local junk man who was coming around collecting tin cans. And he collected this these tin cans. And the guy's like, hey, you want to buy my gold mine? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll buy it. And he gave him some, whatever pennies he had, some low amount for this gold mine. And lo and behold, the junk man was digging in the gold mine and he only dug 3 feet and he found the biggest load of gold that had been found in the area. Just this huge amount, millions and millions and millions of dollars of gold. Okay.
Right.
Which
yep.
is basically what everybody's going through. And that's really why it's not that I'm heartless or I don't care about Charlie and his family and his wife. I hope that nobody has a hard time. And
no, I know the opposite to be true. Anybody's listening, Adam is not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam is he's got a big heart. He loves his family and he loves people and he fights for everybody.
What I wanted you to do,
I just want to reiterate, Adam fights for everybody.
Have a little bit of a deeper thought on more than just what they're feeding you. And the reason they're feeding you this is because it's designed to separate you from God, right? It's designed to separate you from your power, your potential. God is your power. God is your potential, the Christ within. And there's something I'd like to speak about, which is you have something called Christ consciousness, right? And that's where you bring the power of God into you, which is your Christ consciousness. That's when you become one with the Christ. And what they're bringing you is crisis consciousness. Okay. And
maybe it depends to who, but it backfired on them.
Bro. It's a crisis.
Oh, no.
Okay. And the crisis is that you can't figure out what happened. You don't understand the mind enough, and you have to do the work to understand the psychology of the brain that you're taught from the very young age of 4 or 5 years old to solve the puzzle and get the star. Okay.
Right.
To get the prize. And the prize is figuring out the puzzle. There's a reason that they give you puzzles you can't figure out. Well, why would somebody do something so horrible to this person? And then it was a gay dude. Then it was a Republican guy. Then it was this guy. It was that guy. It's an unsolvable problem intentionally. Why? To keep you away from the gold. Okay. So their goal is to keep you 3 feet away from gold, constantly fearing that I'm never going to get the gold. I'm never going to get the gold. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. Well, if Christ is inside of you and you have the power of Christ, you don't have any fear. I don't have any fear. I have zero fear. I don't, it doesn't concern me. I get upset when I see our followers or others that are following the wrong path and they're going down and they're doubling down on like, yeah, Charlie this and Charlie that. Like, look, if you have something that you really want to speak about, by all means, don't talk about it, be about it. You know what I mean? Because it's not about being right. It's about doing right. And I'm not trying to be right here because I don't know. I honestly don't know what happened to whoever, whenever, because I wasn't there. I wasn't the guy that did it. I promise you I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it. And, I just don't know. And I'll never know. And, these 3-letter agencies are going to tell us one thing. The government that wants to control our mind is going to tell us another thing. Then the other governments who want to control the minds of us is going to tell us another thing. So ultimately, all we can really control is our own minds and say, well, it was a really sad thing. Thankfully, it didn't happen to me. And I'm going to go on and keep pursuing my gold and not let anybody get in the way of my doing and my digging, right? Because ultimately, you're going to get stopped and you're going to get slammed and there's going to be a crisis, right? A crisis. Bo, you got your dictionary there? Want to pull it up?
I got. What's up? I got it. What's up?
Crisis. It's a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. Okay. Again, JFK, MLK, 9/11, Charlie Kirk, COVID-19. Okay. these are crisis consciousness they want you to adopt. They want you to adopt the vaccines. They want you to adopt, fear your neighbor. What we're creating is a crisis culture here of crisis consciousness and a Karen culture, because now, God forbid anybody would say anything against Charlie Kirk. And that's all I was trying to illustrate is how emotionally you listening to this probably got. You probably got very emotional about a man you've never met. And, most of you have met me, but, wouldn't you care more for someone that you didn't meet than someone that you did? Because the news
But
tells
you're still here.
The news tells
we can still hear your voice.
I'll always be here, and I'm not going away. That's the whole thing. And I'm not going to be taken out like that in any other way. It's just not happening.
I
because
agree,
we
100%.
create those realities, and again, I don't care what the weather is today in Japan. I'm not there. I don't give a shit if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's sunny or whatever. It doesn't really have an effect on me. Okay, now, does a Charlie have a ripple in the ocean? Yeah, he's got a ripple in the ocean, but he's not the whole body of water. He's not the currency. And we are the ones that always have to be about it, not talk about it. So when you're 3 feet from gold, you got to be incredibly
all right, I got one for you. I got one for you. So you asked, all right, what does a crisis mean? Well, I plugged it in. You ready?
Yes.
So Charlie had a nonprofit, right? It's called Turning Point. That was his whole stage, right?
Government contracted nonprofit where he could only say certain things that the government allowed him to say.
Right, just like any other, nonprofit church that's out there.
Any nonprofit church, if you don't say what the government tells you to say, they will take away your funding.
Yeah,
and they're $85 million a year. They're $85 million a year company or government company. NGO,
exactly.
Non-government.
But we're all brainwashed until we're not. And that's the point. But I think what you're trying to say, and you're going to love this. So a crisis is a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. It's a turning point.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a turning point where urgent decisions or actions are needed and the outcome can have a very serious consequence.
Yeah.
And there are different kinds of crises: personal, financial, political, and medical
you're buying
health.
Into the crisis consciousness. It's not the crisis. Yeah. It's the crisis.
And you got to make this is what else it says, though.
In what you choose.
A crisis is a critical situation that requires immediate action because it can either get much worse or be resolved depending on how it is handled.
Correct. So it's a crisis.
That right there is the turn. No, beyond that, it's the turning point. There you go. How do you want to look at it, though? Do you want to look at it the way that they're portraying it, or do you want to look at it the way God's portraying it on a spiritual plane? What is that turning point? And the reality is, what is our turning point? What is that crisis in all of our lives?
How are you going to feed into this one? Are you going to just jump on the poor me bandwagon?
No, absolutely not. But in every single one of our lives, just like what we've been educating on here, is that we all go through a crisis, and that crisis comes to a turning point, and that turning point leads to something based on how we handle our choices and those decisions that we make throughout that actual turning point. And so I think that it's funny that you mentioned that, because
that turning point in that pendulum. Watch the video that I put in the comments. Okay, I'm going to put it on the screen. It's a very good YouTube video that I had another gentleman that I help and I work with, and he had this same kind of coming to Christ moment where he was like a little bit too much in crisis consciousness. And, everybody bought into this Q bullshit. Everybody bought into this, Trump was the president when he wasn't the president bullshit, and like believing all this false reality doctrine because it's easier to go believe in something than it is to go and do something. And again, let's bring this back around to.
Well, Jesus told us that. He never told us, he never said just to believe in him. He said, go ye into the whole world and do these things. He told us to do it.
Right.
That's the reality. Those that just sit there and believe.
David, I'm thankful for whoever he helped. With this guy, I'm thankful for whoever he helped. Okay.
Yes.
And whoever's still there to live and walk in some type of greatness because of what he gave to them. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a man worshiper, and there's a lot of things going on right now out there in the media that upset me because it's all man worshiping,
Of course.
it's
Yeah.
it's and not only that, then it comes to nonprofit worshiping. Okay.
Well, and the
And
media could have given two squirts less about Charlie, but now that Charlie is the head of the spear, they're trying to get out ahead of it,
yeah,
and
if it
so they're
fits their
trying to
narrative,
maximize.
they can
Exactly.
sell more cornflakes,
Yeah.
great.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
could sell more cornflakes to the Quakers. Okay.
Right. That's a
And
good point.
and what you have to make sure is that you're not a Quaker just following the herd. I mean,
Quakers
they're
want
putting this
oatmeal.
narrative out there for a reason.
Right.
Don't buy it. I mean, look,
Right.
it's a sad day when somebody dies. It's a sad day when my dog dies. It's a sad day when my goldfish dies. Everybody has their own personal thing that's a sad day, and I'm not trying to belittle any man for when somebody goes, but it's a sad day when a man dies if he didn't do anything when he was here. It's a great day when a man dies if he's ready to go be with the source. So I don't
That's
know if
it.
he was or he
Yeah.
wasn't.
Well
That
said.
should be the only thing we're talking about. And I don't really know. And it's not really my business. That's between him and God. So
Hmm.
I wish him well or whatever. And I hope that he got
You
what
could
he
also
was
go
here
watch
to
his
learn.
videos and find out for yourself. You're not gonna know him personally, but if he's portraying that
Maybe
to, yeah, maybe.
he's
But
been out there for a long time. And up until this time, if I haven't caught one stream of his, it happened for a reason. And I'm not about to go digging now. I know where I am, who I am, and where I belong. And really the kind of
right.
stuff that I need to put in my mind. And you put good shit in, you get good shit out. You put bad shit in, you get bad shit out. And personally, I don't really care what his opinions are on Jews, gays, lesbians, Israel. I mean, it's all real bullshit. Listen, the whole thing is we're supposed to love each other, not go on the other side of fear. And is it irritating when you see like injustice? Is it irritating when you see why is Trump buying TikTok back, right? Because it's okay, well, the Chinese invented TikTok to steal the minds of our children, so let's get it back so we can control the minds of our children, because it's better we, the good US government, than that bad Chinese government. It's just a different mafia. It doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, why don't they just shut TikTok down then if it's so bad? Or it's just absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, I personally, like, none of those things affect me. I'm not using TikTok. If I want to use it for good reasons or bad reasons, that's my choice. But falling victim to these algorithms, falling victim and not being aware of what's out there, like Palantir, that is it's in every stream of your life now, trying to dictate you on a certain path. And if you're not careful, it's a very slippery slope that you're going to be on, because the powers that be and the governance of your mind are by all words, which words have meaning, the gubernare mens. Okay. So if you want the gubernare mens and then you want to go worship a man who works for a gubernare mens corporation that has a contract with them, and they dictate his free speech, because his speech is not free because he signed away his rights by having a 501c3. Okay. He does not have, you can say he's standing on any amendment. Bullshit. Because he was not being about it. He was talking about it. Because if he was being about it, he wouldn't have had a government non-free speech entity. Period. So, nobody's perfect. I get it. Maybe he didn't know, maybe whatever. I'm not trying to criticize a guy, who had a tragedy and a crisis and all these different things. What I'm trying to say is think for yourselves, because this AI thing is going really far. Okay. The
Yeah.
algorithms that are done through your social media, through your television channels, through all these streams of quote unquote information that you think you're randomly getting, it's very selected in what they're sending you, and it's very selected what they're sending others. Okay. And sometimes you have to step away from it, really focus on what's serving you and what's not, and what's serving God. what's separating you from God and what's not. And I know, Bo, in your Bible and your indoctrinated belief, you like to believe that it's all these sins and all these things and, blah, blah, blah. But really, the sin is when you're not living up to the bar and when you're 3 feet from gold, when you stop. That's the only real sin. And if it's taking away your time and it's taking away your spiritual currency from God is what they're trying to do. They're trying to separate you from it and have you believe in government. We'll get you the answers. We're working real hard. I'm Chase Chance, from this organization, and I'm getting to the answers. We found this guy over there. We've got him. We've got everything. The problem is solved. Crisis averted. Well, almost. Well, now more information. Come on. It's like and keep standing by because I'm gonna have more information. Like, come on, the whole thing is just
So the children of Israel, they wrestled against Palestine, or not Palestine, the Palestinians, or no, the Philistines. Sorry, not the Palestine, the Philistines. Forgive me. And it wasn't until day 41 that David came and took down their giant. Same thing with Moses. He murdered a guy, went out into the wilderness, and then at day 41, God gave him the law. And the question is, Jesus went to go fast for 40 days, and on the 41st day, the devil came out to tempt him, and he overcame the devil. And the reality is, what's your 41st day? Most people, I think what you're trying to get at here, Adam, is that most people quit before they get what they're supposed to get from the thing that they are currently in. And what happens is most people, they give up on day 39 and day 40, whatever that looks like. It may not be an actual day, but it could be a phase in their life or something that they're going through. But what is your day 41?
It's not.
What is your day 41? What's that turning point in your life that's going to cause you to do good, and not only just do good, but also be good? And I mean, not just be good, but it's do good.
What's right and work for God.
That's exactly what my Bible says.
No offense, this guy didn't do right and work for God. He did whatever he did and worked for the government.
Yes, okay? It's the same Bible that you and I both read from the same guy that told us the same stuff. And the reality is this: love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you could do those things, you encapsulate all the law, both under the original covenant and under the new covenant. Whether that is I
get you, but most people don't even know what that means, and they don't know what it means to love themselves. They don't know who God is.
Of course they don't. Because how beautiful are the feet?
Some guy inside of a wall. A Christian or a Catholic thinks it's some guy on a.
How beautiful are the feet of those that bring this good news? But how can people hear about this good news unless somebody said it? And how could they say it unless they were sent? And how could they go anywhere unless somebody first told them?
Said before, man.
But I get it. But how many people are out there spreading that message, whether they're in the system or out? You know what? One thing I have to say about Charlie, being in the system underneath a 501c3 and being able to accomplish the things that he was able to accomplish while being part of the system is absolutely phenomenal. And that's a very, very rare trait. Really,
he accomplished it making $85 million a year. Other than that, I don't know.
I don't know if that's true.
What? Google it. True. 85 million a year. Bo, do your research. I do my research.
All right.
Don't mess with me on that. Come on.
No, I'm not. But you just said he made it. He made that much. Bro.
What?
You just said he made that. Maybe Turning Point.
Whatever. There's an overhead and everything. Turning Point. He is the crisis management service that the government created and that they created a contract with.
Maybe. I wasn't there when the government did it.
You just said the definition, not me. Read between the lines.
I did. You're right. Yeah. Well, we need to. We need to think this logically, and we need to be literal about it and figurative about it.
Think about it. Okay.
Right.
This is what I most respected about David is that he gave us some things that were controversial. He would always say things that you're like, I can't believe he's saying that. He's gonna get shot. He was like, yeah, they're gonna shoot me outside if I say that. And he wink. He was kind of cute about it too. And there's things you can't say, but it's not what he said. It's the fact that he said things that made people wake up and question things. So if this guy made people wake up and question things, and that's what it did for you, great. There's people that Charles Manson made them wake up and question things. Okay. I'm not going to go and worship Charles Manson. Okay. So
well, and nobody should worship Charlie Kirk, anyways.
no,
So
either
that's
Charlie,
yeah.
both Charlies. Sorry, Charlie. That's
Right.
it. So stop
Well,
worshiping the man.
that's the whole thing, though. I mean, we can have voices that went before us that we can acknowledge what they've done in our life. It's like it's as if a seer goes out and sows seed. You know,
Right.
some falls by the wayside, some
But
falls by the rocky
there's
soil,
no
and some
difference
falls on good ground.
other than one you say is okay, you know, and the other one is like not okay, right? But they're both named Charlie, and one did bad things and one did, you know, maybe the appearance of good things while making
Well, that's
$85
why you
million
asked us what the
for a
definition of crisis was.
501c3 NGO.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you asked us what the definition of crisis was. What is the definition of crisis? Well, I read it out. It's whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a turning point where urgent decision
So
is and
the
actions
turning
are
point
needed.
here is to realize that Christ consciousness is something that's within. Okay, all this shit without the news, the Charlies of this world, all this bullshit that they're hammering you with, 9/11, COVID, all this stuff is not the Christ within. Just you got to start filtering better this stuff out of your reality, because the more you bring this into your reality, the less you're going to have control of it, and you're going to be farther and farther and farther away from the gold. Because what happens is the gold is right here, right? It's 3 feet away. And you keep putting this Charlie here, Charlie there, 9/11 here, you know, the disaster of this, or what really happened here, or, you know, all these different things get in the way of your gold, which is right here, because you're allowing all of this evil, which is a do evils, to come inside, right? You're supposed to have the Christ consciousness where you're the inside out, and you're allowing this outside in stuff, these evils, to come in and affect your 3 feet from gold. My 3 feet from gold is, you know, really going to the source and being one with God. That's it. And it's just, you know, do I get taken away from it by, you know, this feed comes in, or that thing happens, or I lose my temper, or whatever it is, all the time. I mean, it's a constant struggle to get those. But at the same time, I have to guard my mind from bullshit in, bullshit out. And if you're putting too much of that bullshit in,
there's a scripture to that.
I'm sure
your eyes and your ears are conduits to your heart, and out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So
right.
There you go.
So
what you put in eventually comes out, and you're 100% right about that.
So living this news cycle of 24 hours, the guy that speaks the truth got shot. Don't speak the truth. It could be you. And now I am Charlie. You know, you can't feed into that stuff.
Don't be Charlie. Don't be Charlie. Just be you. Be the best you know to be. And if you do it to the best of your ability, somebody takes you out for it, guess what? You went out the way
I'm ready to go.
Exactly. You went out. Yeah, exactly. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake.
The goal is being ready to go at any time. That's the real goal. That you're right with Christ, that you're right with God, and your soul is in a position where you feel that you've got it done, and you're pretty good with that, right? So anything that gets in the way of that relationship, especially the TV right now, especially TikTok right now. I mean, think about it. Again, I didn't bring up TikTok and Trump negotiating with China for no reason. I mean, come on. It's so you could see that it's not okay for the Chinese to manipulate our youth. Only the US government can. Come on, guys. I love you, and I love the US government too, but I don't want it to be something that is used against us. And we're at this turning point, correct? We're at this crisis mode with AI. We're at this crisis mode with, let's say, a lot of information and how it's processed and how it's used for us or against us. And right now, I had a conversation earlier today with like this guy. He was talking to me. He's like, yeah, you know, we got to start like a bookstore with all these different books. I mean, and I'm like, oh, you mean like Amazon? And he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And then, we just deliver whatever books that's on the subject of like people, right? Of like what is on their I mean, you mean like Google? So you got like Amazon and Google. And what's Google's what was their original slogan, Bo?
I have no idea.
It was do no evil. Okay. Now, why would that you got to question, okay? Like, oh, I never thought Google was evil. Why would they even have to question to do no evil? Like, why would that have to be your slogan unless you had to really try hard not to do evil with what you've been given? Because it's so close to them to just do a ton of evil, right? And they are right now. And that's really, the bigger, that's the more troubling situation that we're in. If we want to talk about that, is, AI, who owns AI, those kind of things. And how we start moving in a positive direction with a real solution instead of complaining about the Jews,
Right.
complaining about the gays, complaining about the Karens. We have to start giving other people an outlet to positively be themselves, not to be so. I don't want my kids to live in an overarching world where, there's people that have to keep telling themselves and remind themselves every day to do no evil, where people create a bookstore just so they can get all the data on everybody in the world to sell them more shit. Right? Like they're in your bank accounts. They're in every single thing you bought. They know everything about you. Every Facebook ad that comes to you, all this stuff that you see is just so they could buy more shit.
Right.
They can sell you
Yeah.
more shit. So you can buy
Well,
it and they can sell you more shit.
it's funny you were
Stop
talking
buying
about
it.
AI. It's funny you're talking about AI because most people, it's we could all go live under a rock and let the world take us out overnight, or we can learn to use it. Now, I remember there's this guy that asked an AI, I think it was Grok, it might have been ChatGPT, but I think it was Grok, something like that. Asked a series of questions. Said, okay, here's the question list. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I just want one answer question, yes or no. And if you don't have the ability to say yes, I want you to say Apple. And I don't know if anybody's watched this, but he said, so do you know who Jesus Christ is? Yes. Is he who the Bible says he is? Yes. Uh, is AI good or bad? Or no, he asked a different question. He said, is AI controlled by uh, um, devils? And the AI said some, which broke protocol, but it said some. And he said, is it controlled by angels? Some. Okay, so is it good? Yes. Is it bad? Yes. And then it kept asking all these questions, and it was interesting because it was asking. So as he started asking this AI all these questions, he realized that, do I have authority over AI? Yes. Can I rebuke a devil from AI? Apple. If I rebuke a devil from AI, can I utilize it or use it to my advantage? Yes. So it's basically like the Keys of Solomon. If anybody's ever read Solomon's writings on how he used that ring or that signet that God gave him in order to control these demons, exactly. And so it's interesting. When I read that, it was something that Adam and I had this conversation with David a long time ago when we were talking about Freemanbot.
And about
And
Solomon. Yeah.
and about Solomon, exactly. And it was interesting because both Adam and I David and I had a similar take. Like, there's no way AI is evil; it's all evil. We can't do it. But then Adam used reason, and Adam helped us to get a better grasp at what AI can be used for. And after Adam said that, I actually had a
Yeah,
series
but
of
Bo,
dreams.
I agree with you to a point, but knowing a lot more about it and the technical side of it,
Right.
like, let's say I want to borrow your car, Bo, and you're like, okay, you can borrow my car for the day, but the next day I want it back, and I'm like, no, Bo, I want to keep the car, and you're like, no, it's my car, I need to use it, I got to go to work. Well, it's your car. There's nothing I can do. So
You have to
there's
ratchet the back doors, though.
I hear you. I hear you. So, but there's this guy called like, Sam Altman, and he owns it, right? So it's his. So the problem with it is a lot of people are using it thinking it's theirs, like Google. I mean, you could buy a piece of the public company, but
Wait, what is Sam
ultimately
Altman free to own?
Israel,
Oh, okay. Got
or
it.
is it holds him, one or the other.
Okay.
But let's just say, I mean, I was watching a video the other day. Did you see the one with Tucker Carlson on that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, Tucker Carl. So Sam Altman, the owner of ChatGPT, his main programmer accused their company and Sam personally of stealing his code because it was his code. And then he ended up suicided. And Tucker Carlson brought this up and he said, "Hey, Sam, isn't it weird that your employee who brought up charges against you for
Wow.
stealing his code was, murdered?" And he
Way to
said,
go.
Sam's like, "What do you mean murdered? He committed suicide." And he's like, "Haven't you spoken to the FBI or to any of the investigators, and haven't you like researched this story much about what really happened to your employee,
Wow.
your number one employee that created the code for
Yeah.
ChatGPT? And wasn't it weird that there was blood in 2 rooms?" And Sam's like, "Well, he shot himself with his own gun. I mean, I don't know anything about blood in 2 rooms." And Tucker was like, "Yeah, I've watched that, I've seen the evidence and there was blood in 2 rooms, which is impossible if it's a suicide. How did he walk to another room when he was dead? His head was blown
Right.
off." So our experiment with Freemanbot was a failure. It's like this block, right? It's Charlie, it's 9/11. 3 feet from gold is still there, where we're going to have a decentralized, autonomous AI that isn't owned by anyone. That's the goal. So
That's the
I'm
goal.
still working on that.
Right.
Unfortunately, our group wasn't as big as we wanted it to be. There wasn't enough adapters. We didn't have enough, let's say NGO media power. The government wasn't giving us millions of dollars a year to support our nonprofit. We weren't that we didn't go that direction and decide to work for the government. We decided to work for God. So, God is blessing us with that and has blessed us in different ways and blessed our trust with ways to do it. And that's ultimately one of our contributions of how we're going to do it, not just be it. So, those things are coming. You can rest assured that we're working on it and that there are good people doing, or at least like people of God with Christ consciousness doing it, but it's not here yet. And right now we've got, people of questionable character. We've got the PayPal mafia that owns one. We've got Israel that owns the other one, and we have China that owns the other one. And, maybe a few underliers out there that, your choices aren't very good there as well. So, I question all the data I get there. And yes, using it and being a first adapter, it's like when you were a first adapter to Google, you could make a fortune and you could do things nobody else can do. But in a very short time, all of that shit is going to be squeezed into this little thing that they own and they control, and they're only going to give you what they want you to have.
Right.
And that's the real risk, especially when they start to harness the power of those demons. And we're not, when they have the power of Solomon because they're stealing it, and we're allowing them to take it. And that's the same thing with this attention span of COVID-19 and following the orders and standing 6 feet and all this bullshit. And that's why I was so upset about this Charlie mania, right? This sorry Charlie crisis mania. And I am sorry about it. It's a bad thing. But I hope we put that to bed a little bit, open your mind a little bit to it, and maybe just think a little bit differently about how that information gets in the way of your 3 feet from gold, because there's a lot better things, and even a lot better things that we could have spent talking about on this hour than that. I'm glad we did, and I'm grateful that it came up and that we had this crisis to address. You know what I mean? It's much better than a tsunami. It's much better than a volcano eruption. It's much better than, it's a small thing, one versus a lot, it's much better than nuclear war. Okay. Those crises are all a little more challenging and imminent at the same time. But, there's a lot more people dying in the wars right now that we're responsible for. And nonprofits that work with the government are agreeing to, work with those entities that are supplying a lot of funds there. So when you say that you're a national and, oh, we don't pay taxes anymore because we don't support the war, but we just support the organization that makes $85 million on the company that supports the war, I mean, that's a little hypocritical, don't you think? So learn and do the research about who you're supporting and why, not because they tickle your fancy for the day, or they, we jump on the Jew hating bandwagon of, Israel's our enemy, or, Afghanistan's our enemy, or whoever is the enemy of the weak, and really focus on ourselves, that 3 feet from gold, and not letting anything get in the way. So back to you, Bo, where you were. I apologize for that interlude and interruption to where you were going with all your paperwork and your personal dealing with 3 feet from gold. So
it's important because a lot of times we quit too early. We give up. And when we give up, you've heard this from David, but if you don't quit, you win.
You win.
That's right. And so many times, too often, we hear people struggle, and I'm telling you, they're on day 39 or day 40. And then I get a call, or Adam gets 10 times the calls I do. And they're like, I just can't do it anymore. This is stupid. This sucks. And they slam the book closed. And they were 30 seconds from victory. They were 1 day from victory. They were 5 days from victory. It doesn't matter the amount of time.
Gold.
Exactly. The reality is, if we continue and we move forward on something that we believe in wholeheartedly, and we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is just, because what is righteousness? Righteousness is right standing with God. And if we're standing in the right place, it doesn't matter the timing, because the timing will come. And our vernacular should change from, I just can't, or I don't know how, or this doesn't make any sense, to, you know what? It doesn't matter because it's on its way. Where is it? It's on its way. And that should be.
It's already here. What you don't understand is the gold is right there. It's 3 feet in front of you. It's just, It's not on its way, Bo. It's here. That's right, what you're missing. It's
you're
here.
Right.
The gold is there. It was always there. Just 3 feet in front of you. You gave up and you let the junk man get it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so many people, they don't find the right receiver, and then they just stop because they missed number 39, but 81's been open this entire time. And instead of going to the next clerk, boom, they shut it down, and 81 was ready to do it for them. And so you got to find your Randy Moss out there.
Did you call the boss's boss today, Bo?
I did not. No.
See? I 3 feet from gold. You're the victim of it. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
You like, again, I get really pissed when I say something or I help somebody out and they don't do it. So get on it.
I was in the middle of finalizing this, and I have an exorbitant amount of
you got to get the boss's conversation and email so you can send it to them too, because they need to understand the gravity of trouble.
A list of exhibits that takes a minute for me to grab, and then honestly, we altered one of the things that needed to be notarized, and so that's why I didn't call, because I didn't have the documents in front of me. But that's not an excuse. It's not. But let this be an example to everybody else that, you may not have everything perfect. It may not be everything right. There's always remedy. Even if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. You're not licensed to be perfect. You have mercy and you have grace. And because we have those things, we have the ability
But
to
you
go
don't have a
forward on the
license to
things that we
stop.
know is right. Because
Yeah.
but we have right standing with God, and when we move forward on our Fourth Amendment right to move forward in our documents, there could be mistakes in here. But like Adam said, we don't have a license to stop. And I don't have a license that says everything that I say needs to be 100% perfect. Sure, I have something on here that says under penalty of perjury, but I can stand behind everything because it came from here. I remember it.
Yeah, but Bo, again,
I have it,
we all got to start like, okay, again, get off of this person worship that maybe did something, maybe didn't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they did much for police reform. I mean, DUI checkpoints. I mean, if you want to stand on like you know, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, if you want to stand on those, why are we standing up as a culture and allowing checkpoints? Because he couldn't say anything against that because he would lose his funding. Okay. Because he's a 501.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I hear it that, yeah, we can talk about the big bad Israel and how, gay rights and they shouldn't have shared bathrooms and all this stuff. But there's so much intrinsically in that we allow to keep happening. Like the whole, what most people don't realize is that the medical system is completely a court system, right? So it's a law system
mm,
where if you're sick, right, that
mhm,
there's medical coding that goes to a coder, and that coder has to find the loopholes in the law because insurance now it isn't insurance. It's not what you think you bought. You didn't buy health insurance. You didn't buy house insurance. What you bought yourself into was a contract with 100 lawyers on the other side working actively against you. And that is
right,
not what we signed up for as a culture, as a race, as a human, as a man. We didn't sign up to
mm-mm,
purchase something that is such a scam that harms everybody in the process, right? Like the
right,
time that you're stealing from me on your insurance case and the time that the insurance is stealing from you is a huge amount of harm. I'm going to add myself to your case because I'm going to have
yes,
to give you a giant bill for all the time you're stealing from me and all the time they're stealing from me and their
right,
lawyers because they're scumbags. And this is the health system of the United States right now. This is how that the legal system, how that's going right now. This is the child support and CPS system. Why are men who want to have custody who can't see their children paying all of their expenses? Like where did this crap all come from? We know where it came from, and it's all to weaken the family. It's all to weaken your Christ consciousness. It's all to make you a slave, steal all your time. It's all theft. It's all harm. And I'm
yeah,
pretty sick and tired of being harmed by all this bullshit, you know? And yeah, Israel, okay? I don't know what the weather is like today in Israel. I know what it's like here in my reality with you, Bo, and what you're going through. I know what it is like with my other client Justin and what he's going through with child support in the government stealing 4 years of his life. You know what I mean? When he's the best father that, he can be. He takes care of his children, does all these things, but the government wants to put themselves in between it. And,
right,
and I got the same thing with another one that I'm helping where, they just decided this one guy was bad, stole all his money, stole all of his business, because, and then they tried to prove it after they already made the decision that man is bad. And there's so much of that shit. And so
right,
I'm sorry, Charlie, about what you're really fighting for, but we don't need checkpoints. We don't need people checking your papers to see if you're a citizen or not a citizen. If you're not harming anybody, leave them the frick alone. And that's more what we need people standing up for. That's what we need you standing up for, not tolerating this friggin' nonsense of people really violating your rights, your God-given rights to be a free man in this world and not have another man tell you what to do. Stand over here. Don't get out of your car. Stop your car now. Go over here. when nobody was harmed in any of those processes, it's absolutely illegal under God's law for any of this stuff to do. So until we're operating under God's law in this country, it's an abysmal failure. And we're like 60 feet from gold at this point because there's so much lawyer bullshit in between it that gold is way out there when we're dealing with any of this nonsense. So we got to come together on that, where we're eliminating all of this rhetoric, all of this fear-based nonsense, and just not tolerate it anymore. It doesn't serve us. Doesn't serve us.
Yeah. That's good. When you were talking about insurance, and I just looked up Black's Law.
Go back to Bo. Yes.
Yep. And I was looking up insure, to contract to indemnify another against loss, damage, or liability from a contingent or unknown event. That's to insure. The insurer, the party who undertakes the risk of in an insurance contract, typically an insurance company or underwriter, they receive payments and are bound to pay for losses as agreed in the policy. The insured is a policy protected against or protected by the insurance contract, sometimes called the policyholder. The pay premiums they pay the premiums and have rights to indemnity or payment or benefit if this covered event occurs. And insurance is a contract between whereby one party, the insurer, for consideration, which is the premium, agrees to indemnify or pay another, the insured, for the loss, damage caused by a designated risk or peril. And it's just interesting that when you find out the meanings of words that they don't tell you, because I looked up what it meant in the dictionary and it did not mean that. And what you were talking about with the healthcare place, the healthcare hospitals, they're basically a court, and they use lawyers, and the lawyers underwrite everything. And so,
it's a court.
And then they use the insurance, but they give you wording on a document that means something else on the thing that they're declaring. That's the importance of reading what they're actually trying to
on my
write
travels
to you.
in the U.S., I met 3 different medical billers subsequently who happened to be Uber drivers too. And they were all up in arms about the fact, like, what are they even doing as their job? Like, they're just trying to get sick people the medicine and the services they need, and they're failing all the time because they're not really lawyers. So because the doctors want to be rich, they can't afford to give away all of their money to a lawyer who also wants to be rich. So it's a very and most of the big hospital groups, they do have big lawyers, but those big lawyers, they also work for they have deals with the insurance companies. So it's usually the little guys who are really getting this thing tough. And, why does this insurance stuff keep happening to you, Bo? Like, you gotta probably get out of that business. It's like maybe your karma from knowing that it's
for
wrong.
Sure.
Like, if the insurance business is wrong right now, like, you should be working on insurance reform, not having anybody do insurance, because working for people, trying to help them in a bad system that's broken, you're just contributing to the brokenness. And then, which maybe you don't know, but Bo informed me that his car, not only what he's going through with his house, he got hit while he was having a sandwich while his car was parked by a homeless man who didn't have car insurance. So like that story is definitely biblical, and there's probably some job, some section in job, like job 3.14, where this kind of thing really comes full circle. But
we talked about this. It's because it's the thing that I'm focused about. When I did storm damage restoration back in the day, and I still do a little bit here and there, but when I did it a lot, it was as if I was praying for a hailstorm, praying that some destruction would happen to somebody else's house. And I invited that. And that's been my life for over a decade, longer than that.
Yeah, but maybe it's time you stop.
Couple decades. Yeah.
Make this your last insurance incident ever, and then just take whatever claims we get you and go and like reform insurance companies and maybe start your own. Because there can be good insurance companies. And the way I see insurance companies being is that everybody is a shareholder of the insurance company. So all of your premiums go to pay to the collective, and anybody can use the insurance. Everybody has to pay into the insurance. But let's just say if you abuse the system, your shares of the benefit will be less because the insurance company makes millions and millions and millions of dollars every year that could be spread out amongst the shareholders to lower their premiums. However, those who abuse it, their premiums go up. And that's kind of the problem, is the bank steals all the money because the insurance company is just a bank. The court is just a bank, and they're all just insurance companies, right? Even when you go to court, the whole thing is about insurance. Everything is a car accident, right? It's a claim. It's always about the claim. It's always
that's what they always want to find out, your bond and bond information. Are you bonded?
Correct.
Are they going to pay your bond? You know,
or who's going to pay the bond, or is somebody going to come in and pay your bond? You know, do they have a bond? There's a whole bunch of things there that we're pretty as like they don't teach us in school because they have us chasing these stars. So again, spend your time learning the things like insurance, how it works. Help us to build the things like actually an ethical insurance company that everybody is a part owner of, because it's a bank. Why can't we own Allstate? Why can't we own, you know, I mean, you could buy shares of public companies, but we're contributing monthly to their capital. And the ethical way to do that is have everybody shared cooperative ownership, and there'll be a lot less claims. And, you know, there'd be a lot less incentive for people to exaggerate claims, to raise more claims, to get into these fights or whatever they are, if everybody was getting a piece and they actually own the bank too. It's just where we have this world of Jeff Bezos, right? Where one guy owns the bookstore, and because he wants to be the richest man in the world, right? Like, and sell every single person. He wants the data on every single one of us, just like Palantir, just like ChatGPT. They want all of your information. That's why everything you put into ChatGPT goes into a storage that's linked to your Google, and they're all working together to gather as much information so they can sell you more shit and slave you on more levels. It's not.
So I've been living under a rock. You know that. So what's Palantirs?
Oh, man.
I'm not the only one, I promise.
So Palantir is like the service for the government that is ChatGPT kind of for them, let's say.
Got it. Okay.
It's not only ChatGPT, it's like more it's owned by the PayPal mafia as well.
Okay.
So it just happens to be, so there's not an alternative, right? So Palantir Technologies is an American publicly traded company specializing in software platforms for data mining, headquartered in Denver, Colorado. Okay. And it's a Peter Thiel company, who is also the PayPal mafia with Grok and with Elon Musk. And they're very ingrained in getting a ton of government contracts. So you have PayPal mafia number one, Grok, and what was the name of that thing that Elon did for the government? Doge. So yeah, so Palantir leaves off where Doge began.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's in all of our best interest.
I'm sure it is.
I'm 100% sure that the two founders of PayPal
thank you
that own the bank really want us to all own the piece of the bank too and get our fair share. I really think that they definitely don't want to be the richest men in the world. They definitely don't want to control everybody, and they definitely don't want to collect everybody's data because they're only data mining for the greater good of all. Come on, guys. I'm sure of it.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
And Palantir, Peter Thiel is like a big Lord of the Rings guy. And there's just a lot of strange things. Like, I don't know if you even want to get into that nut, but, definitely.
Maybe next time.
Maybe Solomon should have put him in a little deeper. He might have got away.
Well, according to the writings, not one of them got away, but some greedy guy from some culture found out about these writings, found out where these little brass things were, rubbed the lamp, and poof.
Fucking Aladdin.
Demon genie. Yeah, exactly.
Damn Aladdin. Sheikh Turkey
That's exactly
Ali.
what it was.
He screwed up boxing and he rubbed that little lamp.
Oh, yep. That's right.
So I basically,
but that's where the idea of the jinn comes in, where you get the term genie. And so, but that's basically, according to the writings, that's what is stated, and that's how they quote unquote got out. Because some greedy guy came and they wanted control of something, and they were given the promise of long life or riches or women or whatever. And isn't that the story that we're reliving today with all of these bankers and business owners? And it's pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. It's just greed, man.
There's your shot to do something good for the world with take your expertise in insurance and actually start the insurance company kind of for the people, by the people. And, because essentially that's what Social Security was like meant to be, right? It was meant to be this like great thing that would collectively help everybody. Hey, every American, let's all chip in. And then one of us just has a hard time, we'll help him out. And then that went to the Cayman Islands.
Right.
And elsewhere. So, let's just say you never got your grandpa's fair share. Your grandpa never got his fair share, and you ain't never going to get your fair share.
Maybe. And I'm only 3 feet away, brother.
It's not yours anyway. What I'm saying is,
you're right.
It's not something I want. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I don't want that, and I don't want insurance claims. I don't want to be a part of their system bullshit. It just doesn't exist to me. And you really got to get out of that mind frame that it exists and start to create a better reality that you want. Like, I don't want like insurance companies that tell people when they need a fucking transplant to like, well, the billing doesn't, the coding doesn't allow for it, like, I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in a world where, the insurance companies tell you no, where the banks only give loans to people that don't need them. I don't want to be in these, in these types of situations where people only get credit based on if they, follow good little boys and put stars on their chest, and, only if you have this score or that score, and start worshiping all these things outside of God. I want to live in a world where people get rewarded for doing, where people get rewarded for creating, and people get rewarded for, actually doing things for others, like the church of $5, not where you go to church and give $5, where you go into church, they give you $5 and go out and do something with it, help somebody out, give, do whatever's necessary. You know what I mean? And that's really where this whole thing has to go. For me to be a part of it, that's for sure. And the only place that I can take my reality is into things like this, because we all control our realities. So make sure you're guarding yours and not bringing things into your reality that you don't want, So it's a good lesson, but never again. This is the last one. And, you know, there's better things that you can do with what you've been given for sure. All of
Amen,
us.
brother.
All of us. So don't give up. You're 3 feet from gold. You got to finish what you started, and then think about really what you want to do and what you want to build, because the gold's there. You know, the gold is there. We're really close. So you just gotta like
It's true.
grab it. It's already there. We know it's there,
Yep.
and you can't give up on whatever it is that you're going through. Stay away from the crisis consciousness. Stay with the Christ consciousness, and anytime you get away from it, bring yourself back. You know, just meditate, focus. I want to live in a world where people get rewarded for meditating, not for, you know, watching another TikTok video or making a stupid dancing video and wasting your time, you know, like where, you know, improving yourself and different things actually get credits and rewards and those types of things, not pleasing the banker, making the banker very happy because everything was paid on his schedule. You know, I'm not seeing it anymore. So let's hope this is the turning point, and let's
That's it.
let's keep on moving.
Agreed. Yeah, let's allow this turning point to be used for good, like it says in Romans 8, that God uses all things for good for those that are called according to his purpose and those that love him. And that's us. So because we have that calling, because we have that love, not just for him, but it's within us, and we have that love for ourselves and for one another, it's impossible for things not to turn out in our favor. It's impossible. 100% impossible unless you stop it. And so that's our prayer. And for everybody that has acknowledged grief, I've grieved with you. And let's allow this to be, like Adam said, the turning point that turns us around. And this was the crisis that was needed in order for good to eradicate much evil, if not all of it,
Don't adopt the
around the
consciousness
world.
of it, please.
Exactly.
And steer away from it as all the do evils do. So stay away from that crisis consciousness, and crisis consciousness be gone and no more.
Yes. In Jesus' name. Amen, brother.
Right on, brother.
Good one.
Talk to you later.
All right, man.
Bye.
Later.